She never believed in ghosts, not until she unknowingly married one. Her name was Angela, a woman living a quiet life in Lafia, Nigeria. She sold oranges for a living, fought her way through her 30s, and prayed constantly for a man who would love her enough to call her his wife. So when she met Joseph, she believed every prayer had finally been answered. What she didn't know was that she had fallen in love with a man who had already been dead for years. Their story began in February 2011. Angela had just bought a load of oranges and boarded a taxi home. After an argument over the fare, the quiet man in the front seat turned, smiled gently, and paid the difference without a word. That man was Joseph. He told her he had recently moved from Taraba State and was a lawyer trying to rebuild his life. Angela offered to show him around. They talked, they laughed, and by the time she reached her stop, he already felt strangely familiar. Gentle, warm, and comforting in a way she couldn't explain. Within months, they became inseparable. Within a year, Angela was pregnant. Joseph proposed. Her parents approved, and he completed every traditional rite except the bride price. In their culture, the bride price was withheld until after childbirth, when the woman was already expecting. They agreed he would pay it later. That day never came. By March 2017, Angela wanted to expand her small business. She hoped to rent a shop in a plaza owned by a man named Alhaji Usman. The landlord agreed on the condition that her husband vouch for her. But Joseph kept postponing the visit. Days passed. Weeks passed. And when Alhaji announced he would soon be traveling, he insisted on meeting Joseph before leaving. When Joseph still refused to go, the landlord offered to visit their home instead. Angela should have informed Joseph. She didn't. When Alhaji arrived, he came with a friend, a quiet man named Tagba. He asked Angela, "Where is your husband?" She replied, "He's inside. Let me call him." Joseph stepped out of the room, and the moment Tagba saw him, he froze. His face drained of color. His mouth trembled, and in a shaky whisper he said, "Big Joe?" Joseph stopped. His eyes widened. Fear, recognition, and shock flickering across his face. Then, without a word, he turned and walked back into the bedroom. That was when Tagba revealed the truth. "Your husband is dead. He died in 2005. His voice shook as he explained that he knew Joseph from Taraba, that Joseph once dated his sister, and that Joseph had died in a car accident 12 years earlier. He said he even attended the funeral. He had pictures, proof. Angela was trembling. Alhaji stood speechless. She ran into the bedroom. Joseph was gone. Not in the room, not in the house, not anywhere. And their 5-year-old son, Joseph Jr., was gone too. Both of them vanished like smoke, as if they had never existed at all. Angela fainted. When she woke, the house was surrounded by neighbors. The story spread through the community within hours. Some whispered, some prayed, some fled. She left Lafia immediately and returned to Benue. Her parents took her from church to church, seeking answers, seeking deliverance. She was broken. Her son gone. Her marriage a lie. Her memories suddenly fragile, like they didn't belong to her anymore. People traveled from far and wide to hear her story. Journalists, pastors, skeptics, curious strangers. Everyone wanted to know, how did a dead man live as her husband for 6 years? And what happened to the boy who called him father? Some believed the child was human. Some believed he was a spirit like his father. Some believed Joseph took him so he wouldn't grow up bearing the stigma of his origins. Angela didn't know. She may never know. All she knew was this: she had shared a bed with a ghost, cooked for a ghost, carried a child for a ghost, and for 6 years, she had lived in the dark. Looking back, the signs had always been there. Loud signs, impossible signs. But love can blind even the sharpest eyes, especially when the heart is desperate. Joseph was always quiet. He would say he was thinking about his family who died in a communal clash. His sorrow felt real, too real. He had no friends. Only 2 men appeared during Angela's introduction ceremony. And after that day, they vanished completely. No calls, no visits, no presence in her life again. He refused to let their son attend school or church. He claimed he had plans to enroll him once they relocated to Abuja. He often spoke about death. Once, he described a dream in which he and his son died together, describing it with an unsettling smile. And perhaps the strangest detail of all, Joseph returned from his work at the exact time Angela returned from her shop every single day. She never saw work clothes, never saw a briefcase, never heard a colleague call him his. Yet, he always had money. He took care of them generously. And so, she looked away. Now the world is left with questions. Was Joseph Jr. truly human?